Well, perhaps we have three takeaways from Fiji. The first one is the regulatory dialogue and the active engagement between financial regulators and telecom regulators to provide an enabling environment is fundamental. Fiji, since 2017, has served as a platform, bringing together regulators from the financial sector and the telecom sector, the international organizations, digital financial services ecosystem stakeholders, to work together towards advancing financial inclusion. This is true of any digital transformation project where domain experts from the digital or ICT domain co-create with the domain experts from finance, healthcare, transportation, or any other vertical being transformed through this digital transformation journey. In the case of Fiji, the partners from the banking sector were the World Bank and the Bank of International Settlements. And from the ICT or digital sector, it has been the ITU. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation provided generous financial support and especially guidance towards achieving financial inclusion globally. So that's the first one. The second is the technical guidance. We had three working groups on digital ID, security, and electronic payments. And these groups developed technical knowledge that is shared globally on these areas. The first one on the security, infrastructure, and trust, led by the ITU. We developed 9 technical reports. The electronic payments acceptance, led by the World Bank, developed 2 reports. And the digital identity group developed 2 reports, including a policy toolkit. So this technical guidance, I would say, is one of the key deliverables, takeaways from Fiji over the course of the past 3 or 4 years. In particular, in the area led by the ITU, a number of these reports found their way towards international standards and reports published by ITUT study groups. One in the area of quality of service and experience of the network, another on enhancing security of the SS7 protocol, the fundamental international telephony signaling protocol developed by the ITU. And the third is on identity management and the authentication assurance framework. And the third takeaway of Fiji is the country implementations. On the ground, teams from the World Bank and the ITU working hand in hand with the telecom and the financial regulators and experts towards implementing the payments aspects of financial inclusion, or the PAFI report, the reports from the ITU focus group on digital financial services, and of course, the Fiji working group reports. And that experience will be shared in the symposium. So these are probably the 3 takeaways from and lessons learned from Fiji. COVID-19, I think, has highlighted the importance of financial inclusion. When you cannot have contact between governments and people, for example, to disperse social aid during the pandemic, it has become very clear to many member states around the world, especially in developing countries, how critical it is to have financial services through digital means and through mobile phones. So what we will see in the future beyond Fiji is an acceleration and a scaling of Fiji beyond the 3 implementation countries. We have seen a surge in demand by the member states of the ITU in support in the areas of regulation and technology to scale Fiji beyond these 3 countries. The second area is to leverage the ITU Digital Financial Services Security Lab and make it available to member states who are embarking on financial inclusion. This DFS Security Lab is a product of our learning over the past 6 years, since 2014, of the ITU in the digital financial services. And this lab provides provides tools for security audit and testing of DFS applications based on the USSD channel, the SIM toolkit, and the Android and developer resources for the FIDO Alliance, which provides authentication. So a number of technical areas related to security and authentication, where the lab will enable DFS regulators to build confidence and trust in the use of digital financial services, assess digital financial service provider security compliance, and enhance adoption of interoperable authentication technologies. And the third area beyond Fiji is to embark on open APIs, or application programming interfaces, which are critical in the digital finance area and the fintech area. APIs are sort of the glue between the applications and the various data sets and services in this area. So this Fiji Symposium is the third and final symposium in a series of three. The first one was in India. The second was hosted by Egypt. This year we have a fully digital Fiji Symposium, and it is spread over time from 18th of May to the 24th of June, with about 4 sessions per week, 2 sessions per day, and 2 days per week. So we expect to have this symposium opened by a head of state, demonstrating the importance that member states give to this financial inclusion and to Fiji. It will be closed by a minister, and in the course of those 4 weeks, we will be doing stock taking and sharing experience from the working groups and the country implementations. We will have a new track focused on gender inclusion, because many women around the world, young and older, are not financially included, and many are really acting as a key factor in the economic growth of their locality, village, or country. And having them included provides them with more autonomy, more capability to grow, and really getting them included in the economic cycle. So we have a very special focus on not only including people in general in the financial sector, but we have a special focus on gender inclusion. And the third aspect of this symposium is that we will be conducting a crowdsourcing of ideas beyond Fiji. This will start on the first day, will run throughout the duration of the symposium, and on the last day, based on this crowdsourcing of ideas beyond Fiji, the learning from the country implementations, the working groups, we will develop a call to action beyond Fiji.